O ka karawiri, o ka karame, o ka hukura nui, o ka hukura ro, o ka hukura ki ta kōpere. Kia pere kia tata kia tohi anuku, kia tohi arangi tūtaraka wika e paroro mai nei. Ngā rōrawiri, ngā rōte. E tako muri hauraro e pupuhi mai nei kia whakawai poro atu ki ngā takutai o nei o kau te awha. Whakarongo iho ana ki ta wai o tāne te uhitu ana. Ko wai whea, ko te waira i kauria mai ai e kupe o te rangi whakatua te ai ngā ngaru. Te he mauri ora. Ko Hirahuata au.
I am Hirahuata.
I am the chairperson of the Mangaroa Māori Committee. We are of the Takitimu Māori Council. And Derek Huata, he is the chairman. Derek Huata King, he is the chairman of the Takitimu Māori Council. And he has asked us if we could speak for him. As he is at this current moment down in Wellington, lodging his the claim for the takutai moana with the New Zealand Māori Council at this moment.
Thank you.
So Parewa Nui Morel, she is from Mangaroa Marae, and she sits on the executive for the New Zealand Māori Council, and so we're both going to be responding back to Derek's submission. So kia ora pare.
Kia ora anō. The Hawke's Bay Regional Council's proposed tank plan change has never acknowledged the Takitimu District Māori Council, proprietary rights, nor our interests in the water. The Takitimu District Māori Council is the region that sits on the New Zealand Māori Council under the Community Developments Act for this area. My cousin Hera lodged the Y claim for the Heretaunga Aquifer in 2012, as you've heard, as part of the whole claim for the ownership for Māori of the waters in Aotearoa. Since then, Māori across the country have achieved proprietary rights and interests. 17 billion a year of profit is made from the aquifer waters in Aotearoa. The Heretaunga Aquifer is the biggest in the North Island, which provides huge economic welfare for many of those in tank. Within the tank forum, the meetings have not been safe for hapu, marae, and the iwi of Ngāti Kahungunu ki Heretaunga, as tank lacks the integrity and recognition of the whakapapa, the rangatiratanga, the well-being of the mana whenua, that meetings have been manipulated through railroading processes that deny all hapu communities or marae communities their mana whenua's fiscal interests that owed and long overdue since 2014, the best opportunities for mana whenua's financial well-being. None of these are addressed in the Hawke's Bay Regional Council's tank plan change. In the past years, many of those businesses, farmers, orchardists and wineries on tank have been given millions of dollars of financial support by the Hawke's Bay Regional Council, the Hawke's Bay Regional Investment Company, to set up infrastructures based on racism to destroy our waterways of our mana whenua for their own financial gain, while Māori are denied these financial opportunities. This plan change allows this systemic racist practice to continue to deny mana whenua's human rights, especially to equal opportunities, financial opportunities, and our visions for our future. The resource consents mandated by the Hawke's Bay Regional Council under the RMA had usurped mana whenua's rangatiratanga. The Takitimu District Māori Council also lodged affidavits to the New Zealand Māori Council, to the Waitangi Tribunal in 2016. About how the Hawke's Bay Regional Council and the Hawke's Bay Regional Investment Company had usurped mana whenua rights in the Makaroro River in the Ruataniwha area, where the proposed Ruataniwha was going to destroy one of Hawke's Bay's pristine rivers, where Hawke's Bay Regional Council and Hawke's Bay Regional Investment Company made undermined deals with DOC to negotiate the destruction of the Makaroro River and native fauna and flora, as well as native species of peka peka, native bat, and the huge damage that would have had detriment on our environment and waterways. The claimants that lodged their affidavits were the Takitimu District Māori Council, New Zealand Māori Council to the Waitangi Tribunal in 2016 were Hira Huata Mangaro Marae, Ngāti Rahunga i te Rangi, Ngāti Poporo, Ngāti Pāhu, Ngāti Pouwhare Kura, Adele White and Ngaio Te Uka, Ngāti Kahungunu Iwi Incorporated, Ginny Major, marine biologist, Ngāti Upokoiri, Mare Nepe Apatu, Heretaunga Tai Whenua, Robert MacDonald, Waimarama Marae. These whānau have also lodged submissions opposing the Hawke's Bay Regional Council's tank proposed plan change, along with our leader organisations and Takitimu District Māori Council. I'm now going to turn it over to Hira, who's going to talk on our submission. Kia ora.
Derek, he had messaged me that at the end of the day, the New Zealand Māori Council operates under the Māori Development Act. And it's under this Development Act where the New Zealand Māori Council and Mangaroa and the Takitimu Māori Council don't see any recognition from the tank. Although the Takitimu Māori Council has lodged the claims to the Waitangi Tribunal. In retrospect, the outcome for the Makaroro Dam was stopped because of undermining practices. It was the bird and forestry that took the Hawke's Bay Regional Council to court, that had those, along with the claimants. There wasn't sufficient enough proper scientific evidences to prove that down in Waipukaro there is enough sustainability to create a 600 million tonne dam. So Ngāti Kahungunu opposed the dam. We know it's going, that they still want to look at the issues. That's about development. And so when you're talking about mana whenua development, how does that relate to what the Māori want to develop? For example,
Māori have wanted to create water storages, but we get locked out. It's the decision-making processes that happens in this whole process that enables the New Zealand Māori Council to pick up these issues. One of the latest issues that we are dealing with at this current moment is the amendment of the RMA in the New Zealand Māori Council. First and foremost, the first recommendation within the RMA in terms of natural versus built environments. Example, the RMA wants to still protect the inbuilt infrastructures of waters, but versus what's natural. We see issues within the New Zealand Māori Council with the amendment to the RMA. One of those other issues is that the amendments wasn't made with the inclusion of mana whenua. And so within the New Zealand Māori Council, these are the issues that are going to be hitting the courtroom soon, as we are also looking at how the amendments are going through with the RMA. Just last month, we held a New Zealand Māori Council hui here, and that was to talk about the amendments to the RMA, to talk about Māori's stance on water and when we're going to court. The Tākitimi Māori Council has supported at this current moment the Te Arawa and the Te Arawa geothermal springs and their geothermal waters. We are also supporting the Taitokera Poroti Springs, as those court hearings are about to be happening soon. At this current moment, Derek, he's working on the Takutai Moana claim, which is being held tomorrow in Wellington. Tākitimi Māori Council has been very forthright in fighting for our water rights, our water issues, but we're not even included in this tank plan. I asked the question yesterday, specifically, who are you? Who are the mana whenua you are really communicating with? So I want to leave it there because that's where Derek had really asked, is that because Tākitimi has been excluded, it hasn't been included in any of the decision making. We haven't even been contacted with that actually you haven't done a good enough job communicating with the mana whenua. And also, just to wind up, he wanted to also remind us that it is about the Community Development Act, and that Māori have rights to develop their communities, their waterways. And what does that development look like? Derek, he lives here in Bridge Park in a shed, humble shed. We're talking about the pohara. who continually fight
the poor,
all the time. These are the people who have their taonga taken off them. They're not wealthy, they're unemployed, and these are the people who continually fight for their rights that you've usurped in your planning. This is what Derek is really talking about. That exclusion from the ability for Tāki Timu to truly develop.
and with that, thank you. I acknowledge you. Thank you all.
Kia ora for that. I'm expecting we don't have questions because I feel like it might be unfair for you to answer questions on behalf of someone else who's not here. So we have the submission, and thank you very much for filling in for Derek. Thank you very much. That's the end of our submissions for today, but it's certainly not the finish of our work as a panel. We've got Ngāti Kahungunu Incorporated Society for most of tomorrow. So we're going to have another read of the evidence again, because that's what we like to do, as well as the legal submissions which we've received. So we're looking at starting at 9 a.m. tomorrow. And we also have Environmental Defence Society in the late afternoon. That's Cordelia Woodhouse. And then we're finishing with our rangatira Owen Jerry Hapuku Te Hapuku. I did see him. Tēnā koe te rangatira. You'll be our last speaker tomorrow. And then we'll close from the marae and we'll adjourn our hearing for a couple of weeks. Was there any questions or any queries that anyone had? Yes.
Around the Section 42 amended version that came out a couple of days ago, because a lot of the whānau haven't had time to peruse that version.
Yeah, I'll deal with the latter issue first. And we've picked that up both from the submissions today and in the legal submissions from Ngāti Kahungunu Incorporated Society about the timing in terms of the addendum report, and those who are appearing later in the hearings will have more time to consider. So that is something that we're going to have a discussion about as a panel, about how we might approach that. The first matter and the second matter, I don't have a view in regards to the council setting out what the process is post-Plan Change 9 and the establishment of FMUs and those processes which might be giving effect to the National Policy Statement 2020, including Te Mana Te Wai. So we may do that as a separate conversation. We've already received some evidence, some statements and some verbal explanations on the first day, which you may not have been privy to. So we'll have a chat with the council about how that might be best progressed, but I don't think that's going to be a role of the panel per se. Does it answer your questions? Okay. Well, thank you everybody for attending again for day 2. The weather was fantastic today, wasn't it? It was a little bit overcast. We are expecting showers tomorrow, but after the last 2 days of submissions, I'm thinking rain is a good thing. Hoi anō, he mihi kawana kia koutou, ko taimai nei tēnei rā, ki te whakarongo, o tira ki te whakawhiwhinga kōru e pāne te kaupapa I mui a tātou. Nō reira, kōti mō tēnei rā, ka tukuna te rā kia koe te rangatira, whakakapi a tātou rā.
Whatever suits you, you can park on both, but you're welcome to park on that side too. Ngā mihi kia koutou ko tāna nei te rangi nei, ka tei ana he mihi ana kia koutou ngā komi ana e whakaroro ana ki ngā kupuko o te ingi, tēnā koutou, koutou hoki ngā Victorian ākaina, ngā mihi atu ki ate. O ki mai tātou āpopo i te ngā kaumahaki, i te ngā kaupawai, i te ngā kaupaiana, kia puta mai ngā kōru kia pai māranatanga. Nā reira, kapia ara nuku, kapia ara ni kapia tēnei huhunga e o te mātāho, whakatangatanga ki runa, whakatangatanga ki raro, ita, Māori, ora e o e, oi!
Kia ora.